Saturday night, let's make a stream. What else are you going to do, right? So I was watching Jay's last video where he starts talking about all the different problems in Vancouver. And, there's a few things that seemed a little off, so I just wanted to address some of those. So let's get into it here. Now, full disclaimer, I've lived in Winnipeg, grew up there. I moved here from Calgary, and I've seen the social issues that happen in both. In Winnipeg, because I grew up there, I've met a lot of the homeless population there. And I know the habits that go on. I've spent a lot of time in Osborne Village. Those of you that know me, you know my story, so you know what went on there. So let's go ahead and watch Jay's video here, and we'll see just exactly what he had to say. Now, the song that this samples from, or perhaps this is the song, I love this song, grew up with it.
Wanted to comment here on the state of the downtown east side. First of all, just a disclaimer, this is my opinion only. It is not to be affiliated with my brokerage, my managing broker, any of my associates. What I
Okay, so did you get a slap on the wrist?
Say here is strictly my own opinion, but there was a tweet that came out from the mayor, Kennedy Stewart, saying that the downtown east side is the heart of this city. The downtown east side is the heart of Vancouver. And when I read this, I thought to myself, if the downtown east side is the heart of this city, we're going to need a major coronary bypass here. It is not the heart of the city. It's a disaster.
Okay, so the downtown east side is, in fact, the historic heart of Vancouver. It's also the only place that a lot of the city can afford to live.
Let's be clear here and let's call a spade a spade.
All right, spade a spade. So if the last bastion of affordability is the downtown east side, then really the whole city of Vancouver is a disaster. Just think about that for a second. There's a quote that's often attributed to Gandhi, but it's not. It's actually from Hubert Humphrey. And it goes like this. The moral test of government is how that government treats those who are in the dawn of life, the children, those who are in the twilight of life, the elderly, those who are in the shadows of life, the sick, the needy, and the handicapped. So if children are going hungry because their parents can't afford houses, I see that the province is allowing tax deferrals for parents as long as they have some equity, but what other help is there? A lot of help going to the elderly right now, and perhaps that's because, boomers are historically the largest population that we have. But in terms of the sick, the needy, and the handicapped, what's Vancouver been doing for them? I don't know.
But there was an article with Jean Swanson saying that, hey, the government can solve homelessness. And as evidence of that, she points to the fact that they're giving out $2,000 checks to the unemployed. They're buying up hotels and putting the homeless up in the Four Seasons, free drugs, free housing for everyone, and how that's going to solve the problem. So,
okay.
This just shows how out of touch some of these elected officials are.
Maybe they're out of touch. Maybe it's out of touch to let people pay 1,000 square feet for a condo and then not live in it while the city starves and suffers from a scourge of addiction. I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds more out of touch. Handing out $2,000 checks won't change a thing. Well, let's break that down. It's $500 a week on EI. If you're getting EI, it's $573 a week, so it's actually less than EI. Basic income projects that they recently ran in Ontario, you got just about $17,000 a year, and that works out to about $325 a week. And it was helping people out. There's some quotes from the study when we did Mincome in Dauphin. One of the quotes was, it was enough to bring your income up to where it should be. It was enough to add some cream to the coffee. Everybody was the same, so there was no shame. Another quote out of that study, it gave them enough to raise their kids. People work hard and it's still not enough. This isn't welfare. This is making sure kids have enough to eat. They should have kept it, the minimum income program. It made a real difference. So think about that.
This is a temporary measure due to a global pandemic. It's not sustainable. You're not going to hand out $2,000 checks indefinitely.
Winnipeg does it. Medicine Hat does it. Why can't we?
This is an emergency order. And on that note, let's talk about modular housing, because this has been talked about as a solution to the homelessness crisis. We've built a number of these now. I think it's time to look at the results. So here's the chart from 2010 to today. Now, the amount of sheltered homeless has been going up. And based on...
Okay, so that's one view of the chart. Let's take a look at another view that illustrates this a little better. Okay, so, here we've got total amount, and then we've got our unsheltered versus sheltered. So unsheltered, those are the people that are actually just completely all out living on the street. They've got no supports.
On that, you would expect that unsheltered homeless numbers would be going down. They should be going down. But according to the chart, both sheltered and unsheltered homeless has been going up. The total has been going up. So
let's keep in mind that, countless studies, the two main causes of homelessness in Vancouver are lack of income and cost of housing. Lack of income and cost of housing.
Why would that be? Well, think about it. If you're homeless and you're in Calgary or Winnipeg or Manitoba, you're jumping on a train to Vancouver right now.
You're jumping on a train to Vancouver right now. Okay. Go take a look at some of the folks that are homeless. There has been some migration between provinces. I'll agree to that. Klein actually gave people bus tickets to go to Vancouver out of Calgary. But it's for the most part, people that are homeless, I don't want to say they don't have it together, but they don't have the gumption to get on a train and move across the country, man. It just doesn't happen. Let's actually go and take a look at some numbers here too. That reminds me. So, what do we have here? We've got, I can't highlight that, it's a graphic. But anyways, there's 2,200 homeless in Vancouver, 2,100. So they're actually, from the numbers I'm about to show you, they're from 2018. So if we look, there's it was a 40-person increase in 1 year. But in Calgary in 2018, there were almost 3,000 homeless people. So if the homeless number only increased by 40 in 1 year, who showed up, man? Nobody. Let's take a look at Winnipeg too. Winnipeg, 1,500 homeless. So, I get it. People don't want to live in Winnipeg. It's cold there. Some people like living there, but it's more affordable too. But there's so many more homeless people in Calgary than there is in Vancouver. So your argument's not holding much water there, man. Back to the tape.
There's no limit to how many of these guys want to come here. You could build these modular housing units 40, 50, 60 stories tall. You could have Trailer Park Boys condo edition. It's not going to make any difference. Right now, we're spending $1 million a day on that downtown east side. And
It's actually $3 million a day. It's getting out of control. And you know what's causing it? Fentanyl. Whatever you want to blame the housing bubble that we're in right now on. There's a lot that's causing that, but keep in mind, Calgary is more affordable than Vancouver, and it's got a higher homeless population. So why is that?
What these politicians don't understand, you could spend $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $10 million. It won't make any difference, because the problem is, this is not a housing crisis. This is a drug and mental health epidemic.
I'll agree with them 100% there. It is a drug and mental health epidemic. Various previous governments, and I'll have to look it up later, but they shut down Riverview Hospital in Coquitlam, for example, and then everyone that was being supported in Riverview Hospital just got sent away. So very, very much so, all of those, all the supports, they're focused around Hastings and Maine. And so, as a result, just like in LA with Skid Row, Hastings and Maine has become Canada's Skid Row. There's a lot of great organizations around there that provide support for our homeless population. And a lot of the money for that comes from the casinos. I think it's like 45 million a year comes from the casinos. Maybe it should be higher, maybe not. But is it sustainable to keep handing out the cash? It's probably not sustainable to not do it, because as we go forward, that $3 million number is only going to skyrocket as more people become homeless without that type of support. So we really need to get Riverview reopened, get it running, get people the help that they need, get them off the streets. And well, Jay's going to say it here right away in the video. You can watch it yourself if you want, but we do need to get treatment facilities in play, and that's just the way that it is. So what is the health of what does the future health of the city look like? Well, let's hope it looks a lot brighter, because right now it's looking pretty bleak. So anyways, dark note, Saturday night. That's pretty much it. So, wash your hands, stay safe. This has been Not an Agent.